crush in the early fall. When I stepped into the back of the winery, Mom was standing with Jacques, and he was pointing at several tiny beakers full of red wine and going on in his thick French accent about tannins. Mom looked my way, and an expression of pleased relief crossed her face.
"There you are, Lincoln. Excuse me, Jacques. I really need to speak with Linc about the, Eastern Vineyard."
Jacques looked immediately concerned, his thick mustache drooping at the edges as his dark eyes widened.
"The Syrah?"
he asked, clearly worried.
"Is there something wrong with ma Syrah?"
Mom flapped her hands in his direction, shaking her head.
No, don't be silly. It's not about the grapes."
She hooked a hand around my elbow and hauled me into the tasting room, where Elle and Boston stood behind the tasting counter, helping a few people who'd stopped through to taste our wines. Those two were cute enough together now that they'd gotten engaged that even I noticed, and I didn't notice much, unless it had to do with soil, pH, or the Brix level of the grapes on the vines.
You saved me," Mom said,
leaning into my shoulder once she'd hauled me into the corner of the tasting room. "From what?" I asked, suddenly a little worried. I'd been looking out for my mother since Dad died, but hadn't noticed that she needed saving from anything.
"From another endless lecture from Jacques on how to determine when it was time to take the Merlot out of the barrel and bottle it."
She shook her head. "Wouldn't that be important to learn if you hope to be a winemaker one day?" She sighed.
Probably, but it just doesn't make much sense."
"He's a very experienced winemaker," I pointed out. We'd lured him from an apprenticeship in France where he was never going to have a shot to be in charge, in exchange for teaching Mom to make wine. He was well paid and had total freedom over the blending and other decisions at Cunningham.
"We should just let him be the winemaker then, maybe. I don't think I'm cut out for it."
She looked sad for a moment, and I wasn't sure what to say. I hated seeing my mother sad, but I wasn't good at solving problems on the fly, especially not ones that involved feelings and relationships. It was part of the reason I spent most of my time alone. Even when I thought I understood people, I was usually wrong. Mom perked up.
"How was the date?"
"About that," I began, trying to find a way to put an end to my mother's continuous matchmaking that wouldn't hurt her feelings. "I'm not Boston, Mom." She cocked her head to the side, her nose wrinkling up.
"I know that. Oh, did I call you the wrong name again? I usually only do that when I'm mad, or if I've been tasting too much wine with Jacques."
"No, you didn't call me Boston. I'm saying I'm not like him. I don't need to find my match or whatever. I'm happy alone."
"No one is happy alone," Mom said.
"I don't think that's true," I argued. "I actually am. It's easier to be alone. It's exhausting trying to make conversation with all these women I've never met before and who I have nothing in common with. Plus, I don't want to be in a relationship, Mom."
"Everyone wants someone to love."
She frowned at me, looking, not for the first time, like I was a problem she struggled to solve. "I don't think I do," I said, though it didn't feel completely true. I just didn't want to find myself sitting across the table painting ceramic frogs with even one more woman who I knew on a cellular level was not a good fit. It was going to take a very unique person to love me, and I wasn't sure she existed. And even if she did, I'd probably find a way to screw it up anyway. I was bad at love. I preferred to stick to things that were logical, that made linear sense.
"I thought Cammy was a good fit,"
Mom complained. "She was kind of older," I pointed out.
That's true, I guess. But maybe an older woman is what you need, Lincoln."
I shook my head, sighing. "Mom, you're not getting it. I don't need anyone. I'm good on my own."
"We just haven't found the right person,"
she suggested.